Hey folks, Studio here. So, I'm here to talk about a solo queue game. Now, when I see a solo queue game, that's kind of weird. I've been doing them before, but they've been focusing on a character, on a champion, on how you play. And we're going to be doing that. We're going to be looking at Pantheon, actually. So, that's cool and all, but this is not an even solo queue game. This is not a game where I'm going to be like, wow, look at how normal this game is going. Look at how is so balanced between these two teams, because you know what? Most solo queue games aren't like that. We're going to look at a stomp. We're going to look at one team just going like this to the other team, just taking their fist in and just pounding them down to death. But it's important to remember that these are actually really common game types. Sometimes you just get games where it's like, we won. Yeah. It was horrible and super stompy and very mean and oh man. But we won. So, it's important to remember that a lot of games are like that, so we will be looking at those games. Now, you cannot always use this idea of a stompy game in every matchup, because you know what? It doesn't always happen. You don't always get stomped. Sometimes you get even games. But, you get a lot of stomps, and you gotta be ready for those stomps, and you gotta, know what to do. This is gonna be a very solo queue game. I'm not gonna be saying, what's good or what's bad. I'm just gonna be saying what's solo queue. Now, as for announcements, lessons have gotten really weird because the server outage has actually affected them. For example, I was gonna do a lesson on Friday. I'm like, yo guys, let's talk about the game. Oh wait, queue's bugging out. Let me relog. Oh, the server's unavailable. Riot's getting their stuff together, but database shenanigans are never fun, so hopefully that's fixed soon. But I'll keep trying to do lessons. Until then, I will put my hand in front of the camera because I positioned it oddly. And we will jump into Twitter. And by that, I mean, not that, not that. Did I actually close it? Yes, I did. We'll be looking at League of Legends with Rhux's Pantheon. I'm going to move this microphone so I can go ahead and try this normally. Alright, so Pantheon. What does Pantheon do? He generally goes mid lane. You see him more of a bruiser, much more aggressive than other characters, but he's not considered a good pick. So why is Pantheon good in solo queue? He really isn't. There's no reason he's exceptional. There's no reason anybody's good in solo queue. What makes them good is what other players think about them. So looking at Pantheon, what makes him good? If you know how to play him, you can catch people by surprise with his ultimate. You have a good burst combo with your stun, your E, your Q. So he can do a lot. Also, we're going to see a level 1 fight. So, Vision. Both teams are just outside each other's bush. That's odd to say. This team bought faster though, so they're going to be better at the level 1 fight. Blitzcrank is slightly ahead of Draven. Blitzcrank you really want for that level 1 invade. Will be a little slow, but let's see how this goes. So, we'll just look at this through normal vision. Level 1 team fights, as always, are completely insane. It's all about getting your damage onto one person, preferably someone squishy. So, Jarvan, for example, he's a bit tankier, but if you hit him with everything, he might still die. So, here comes Doomtrobe. Here goes direct camera. And what are you doing was just a bit too slow. I forgot that fist didn't actually hit him. So Corki gets first blood, and this is very solo queue. Just someone dies at the beginning of the game. It can happen a lot. If you look at how quickly the teams buy items, just because we had red team buying items a little faster, they were able to group up, invade that bush a little quicker, and be scarier when they need to be. Now, we're going to go back to Rhux. Oh yeah, I know my hotkey. Look at this. We're going to go to Corki now. And now we're going to go to Shyvana, but we can't because we don't have revision. Oh yeah. Knowing my hotkeys. So, how does Pantheon lane against Veigar? Veigar going to be the mid lane. He will spam his Q a lot. He got point W at level 1 for that level 1 team fight. So he can't really do a whole lot at this point in the game. He wants to try and keep max stacks of his passive up, the mitigation of an auto attack, just because Veigar's auto attack, while not super effective, only 51 damage, and Pantheon having quite a bit of armor, 29, it won't be that effective, but it will be something to stop, a bit of damage. And you want to be as sustaining as possible, especially because Pantheon has no sustain, has no real mitigation besides that Q. or that passive. So he hits level 2, and then something weird happens. Veigar leaves. Where's Veigar? I don't know where he is, man. Do you see Veigar? And if we look top lane, where's Malphite? So Veigar goes top, Malphite goes mid. He was getting pressured heavily by Kennen, I guess, because of the level 1 fight. And it's just like, screw it, I'm gonna go mid lane. It could also be that they expected Pantheon top lane, which you normally would. But these two start duking it out. And I actually kind of missed that. So just watch the harass from Pantheon. This is what you want to do against Malphite. He's going to break the shield, and he's not going to stop the pressure once he does. The shield's broken. We can watch Malphite's buff, actually. And he just keeps applying damage. He knows that if Malphite gets the shield back up, it's going to be a bad thing. So he keeps up the pressure, he fights in minions, and he's spamming his Q just to keep pressure on Malphite. So look, the farthest he got his shield up was to about right here, maybe halfway up. And Rhux used the mana potion from that first bloody kill. Now costing a little less, but it's going to be about 2.5 casts of his Q for 1 mana potion. Oh, 45 mana, about 2 1/3, my mistake. But here's a lane. He's just going to be pressuring like crazy. He has a bit of an advantage, and Malphite really needs to get a shield back up before he can get close. He gets his shield back up, he gets close. There's a big creep wave, so Rhux actually can't pressure very much. But he is ahead of Overrise in experience. Like, if you look at experience, he's actually a little bit behind. But with that big creep wave dying soon, he will catch up at level 4 before Malphite and start getting points in his Heartseeker Strike. So this isn't really the solo queue part of the game yet. We had the kill top lane. I mean, it happens. But now, Rhux, you know, he's being aggressive in lane. This is normally how you win solo queue games, by being aggressive. Then these guys help. It's got swag, bro. What's he going to do? He's going to see that flash. He's going to go ahead, help chase, help combo. And then they're going to get that kill. What can Shyvana do? Run. She could try and turn around onto Rhux, but she used her cooldown already. Would have been possible, but risky, and Gotswag would have picked up a kill most likely. And that's kind of how solo queue goes. You play aggressively, you gank aggressively, because people don't have the coordination to actually stop that. If we look at the vision of both teams, there's 1 ward out for blue side, no wards out for red side. Now think of normal solo queue game, or not solo queue games, tournament games. You see a ward in the wraiths early on. You see a ward in the river to protect the mid lane. You see wards all over the place. And I changed my perspective. So there are no wards, there is no defense, there is no way to stop a gank. And that's why ganks are so effective in solo queue. Obviously teams will eventually adapt, but you know, be aggressive, chase people out, catch out that Corki. And mid lane is the easiest lane in the game to gank normally, just because you can come in from so many different sides. You can come in from over here, you can come in from over here, you can do something awesome, like let's say you're trying to gank Pantheon, go to Wraiths, flash over this wall, and then kill Pantheon, which is not always effective because then you use your flash, but I've seen like lots of cool ganks happen mid. And that's kind of how solo queue goes. Just be aggressive, use your skills to not farm safely. If you farm safely and you end up equal, that might be okay, but what if the enemy team gets fed? And you have to find that right balance of just playing over aggressive, completely insane, and you know, playing well and defensively. But in solo queue, you are more favored by playing aggressively. And that's because there's coordination, there's expectations you can make when you have 5 people. You know that they're going to have some form of communication. They might, you know, be able to respond to your aggression. Solo queue, that may not happen. So Malphite's back in lane. He has 68 armor, has a Doran's Ring just to harass. Rhux, he's actually in a good position because once he breaks that shield, he can generally keep it broken by spamming Spear Shot. Now, something important to note is this won't work top lane if it's Malphite versus Pantheon, because Pantheon will most likely not have access to a blue buff unless he's blue side and mid lane gives it up to him. Now, you do have to play as a team in solo queue. So here, Shyvana goes on to Gotswag. So Lol, what are you doing? Trying to get away now. He has Exhaust instead of Flash, so he has no easy escape. Now, this is an easy kill. Just chase down Shyvana, make sure Gotswag doesn't die in the process. And they picked up that kill. Pretty much for free. Now, you know, it was an attempted counter-drilling, some attempted harass from Shyvana. Not a bad idea. But it's important to remember that even though you are not a team, you are not 5 people coordinating together, you can still work as a team. You can still support your jungler. You can still be a good team player. Now, that doesn't mean you should always support your team. Sometimes your team will do dumb things, and if they're going to do something dumb that you can avoid, like, going in, like if you know it's going to be a bad fight, if you know they're going to go in 3v5 with no ultimates up at half HP and no mana at Dragon, then don't help them. Ping the retreat, say don't do it, and back off. If it doesn't work, if they do die, but you being there, it wouldn't have changed anything, it's okay. If it's going to be like an equal fight that you may not like, but it's not going to be god-awful for sure, then go ahead, participate, find that right balance. But when it's an easy kill like that, when it's just like, oh yeah, Shyvana, just pick her up, go, pick her up, do it. Punish mistakes, punish people being out of position. That's how a lot of tournament games are won. Teams just punish the other team for being out of position. Go ahead and do it yourself, alright? You don't have to be on Ventrilo to go ahead and kill that Shyvana in your jungle. And doing so will make you a better player. Watch your minimap. Just watch this big chunk of the screen right here. If I could zoom in on it and only that and just show that screen for the entire game, that would not be the worst thing, because frankly, your minimap is one of the most important tools. And how do you learn to use your minimap? Because normally when I play, I look at the screen. I'm looking at, the middle, because that's where everything is. Well, how do you learn to use your minimap? Well, look at it. Just keep telling yourself every few seconds, check the minimap, check the minimap, check the minimap. I do have bad habits myself. Lately I've actually just, not been watching it enough. But when I play seriously, I'm just like, alright, I'll look every 3 seconds. Just check the minimap. If you see a gank happening in the lane, ping it. Be that guy. Be that guy who's just like, oh, I see Shyvana's going towards top lane, I better ping it. Because if they don't notice, you can at least help them notice. Be a team player in really obvious ways. Now, Rhux, what did he do? He picked up blue buff. Now, he has an advantage. He's Pantheon. He has 2 Doran's Blades. He's actually good at killing blue buff. So I like that he did that. I like that he went ahead and spent the time himself, didn't wait for Jarvan. You don't have to wait for your jungler. If you can go ahead and pull something like that, go for it. You'll notice Rhux is playing super cautiously now. This is different. He used to be super aggressive before. Why is he cautious now? Well, with blue buff, he doesn't want to lose it and give it to Malphite. Malphite now has the sustain. Now, as I said before, be a team player. He sees a fight going on bottom, and he follows up through it. Now, we're going to look for the moment where Pantheon goes to join that fight. So here he is wandering around mid lane. He's going to keep doing this. We know the aggression is going on bottom. He is not. He's not in team. What makes him decide to go ahead and turn and go bottom? Now, we can't actually see the range of his ultimate, but he has to get into that bush first to actually get down there. So he's hanging out, being that Pantheon, having a very tight butt. Okay, what does he do? He goes now. Now, what made him see that? What was a defining moment saying, I want to go bottom now? Well, he saw the 2 people fighting there. He saw Janna low, and he saw Shyvana. There was nothing exceptional. There was nothing big. The Shyvana actually, I'd say, is the big thing, because you see a 3rd person coming in from the turret. That's not common. That generally means something's up. But there's nothing too exceptional about this. He just was looking bottom. He's keeping a good sense of map awareness. And this is something you need to do on your own in solo queue. As a team, it's 5 people. Go crazy. Go do it. Pings actually go out from blue team saying that Pantheon was coming out. So they actually even knew it was coming. But you don't have a lot of time to react. This is what makes Twisted Fate good, of course. So they pick up a kill on Draven. They do lose Corki in the end, but it was a good trade. And Master will actually briefly spotted by a ward, but Rhux and Doom Trobo will get out safely. But you don't need a clear indication of when to go in. You don't need to have your hand held. You don't need to be told what to do in solo queue. And I know it's solo queue. Some people wait for those calls, though. They wait for the tank to do something. They wait for someone to be like, alright, go in now. I'm pinging like crazy. No, don't do it. Do what's right. Do what you think is a good idea. And if it's not a good idea, if it turns out it was a horrible idea, figure out why it was a bad idea. So imagine if Malphite had been down there too. Would that have been a good exchange? Probably not. No, he probably should have, pushed mid or even stopped Malphite from going down there in the first place. But he's back. He's bot. He actually forced the ultimate out of Master of Lol. Not sure if I actually liked the ultimate. He could have used that to escape, but I think he was scared of being ignited and killed because Rhux did not use his ignite to kill Draven. He didn't need it, so good at saving his resources. Now, the blue buff is gone, and Pantheon actually eats through mana like crazy, so he can't be crazy with his harass anymore. He's got to calm down, just be like, yo, Malphite, I know I want to kill you, but I'm going to have to keep my spear in my pocket and just not do anything for a while. That's okay. It's okay to be defensive in soloQ. But he sees an opportunity. He sees that Jarvan's up here. He sees the gank is possible. They want to kill Veigar. Veigar has no real escapes. He just has that stun to blow someone up, which he, gets really close to doing. And what does Rhux do? It's like, I'm just going to help out. Bop. They were going to get that kill anyways with Ignite, but, the fact that Swag didn't get hit by anything else, by the fact that he had that 1 extra second to escape, probably kept him alive. And I like this. I like that he's helping his team. I like that Rhux is not forced to go in. There's no text saying go in. There is no ping saying go in. But he's just doing it on his own, finding those openings and punishing them. Now, he's actually behind in levels from Malphite, but he's 4-0-1. He's a little behind in CS2, but he has the gold. That's okay. Pantheon really needs, a lot of levels and gold. Eventually, though, he'll max out Heartseeker and Spear Shot, and he can go ahead and calm down with the need for levels. The base stats are always good, though. Malphite, though, he's going to be a beast in lane. And that's actually another threat, when the enemy is just much stronger than you in laning. Now, this hasn't been a loss because of laning. It's been a loss because there's been lots of good ganks going on across the map. Normally, you see a lot of people, they'll lose a game. It's just like, what happened? Oh, we got outlaned and we lost. This is actually a balanced strategy in soloQ. Eventually, people will get better. Eventually, people will just be like, I'm going to play defensively. And you will still see losses because one team just loses all their lanes, but not so much. Now, that was a cool as hell gank. There was no communication. Cool things can happen without a team planning it. Cooler things will happen when you're playing with a team. That is the truth. But that was an awesome gank, and then Doom Trovo trying to counter ward here is also a good idea. And then the counter ward. I love the counter ward. But I'm going to keep saying this over and over. They're doing cool things on their own, and I like that a lot. You don't need to make big plays, and you don't need to be told when to make big plays. But Pantheon dies, the enemy team, they start huddling around Dragon. I like this pressure, even though Malphite ult may have been up. I'm assuming Rhux told them it was used. So, that's an important aspect of communication. Jeffster was playing in a dangerous spot if Malphite had his ultimate up, but it wasn't up. They knew it wasn't up. And now they get to go ahead and kill Smites. Or Snipes. Now that had some communication. There was some words going on there. Now, I know I just said before, you don't need to be told when to do stuff. You can also say when to do stuff. You can also be like, I'm Pantheon, I'm coming in from over here. So, look for the pings, look for the pings. The pings are important here. There's a ping on Draven. At that point, somebody probably said, go for the gank. And there's another ping. There's actually a retreat ping, I think that was from the other team though. And then they kill him. So communication's there. They're saying, go for this guy, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to kill him. Now, you'll notice something. I'm not saying anything about how Pantheon's playing. He's playing really well. But I'm not talking about how he plays, I'm talking about how he communicates in his decisions. That's because soloQ, skill goes a long way. But there's a skill of being able to talk to people and communicate in soloQ, and there's a skill of being able to go ahead and get kills, and just, be a good laner or something like that in soloQ. You need both. You can be an amazing player who just doesn't communicate at all. You can get pretty far with that, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be unnecessarily hard. If you're Rhux here, who's communicating, who's saying I'm going in, who's looking at the signs from the rest of his team to go in, you become a better player. And now the score is 6-11. They don't actually have a very big gold lead, only 1,400, so that's about the 4 kills. A little less than that when you factor in assists, but they're doing really well overall. As a sudden violent yawn took over my face. Okay, what do you do as a team though? Keep doing what's working. Their laning is going fine. They have Pantheon roaming across the map, getting kills. Corki has 4 kills and 2 deaths versus Draven's 1 kill and 4 deaths. And that could just be the matchup. That could just be Corki being good at killing Draven. But it certainly helps that they have the help of a Pantheon. He just keeps doing his thing. He just keeps playing aggressively. He's also catching the enemy team by surprise. How often do you expect a gank like this, where Pantheon walks in? You don't. So, He's playing aggressively, he's catching the enemy team by surprise, he's playing Pantheon to his fullest. If you saw the TF game I actually did before, a lot of what Kenix did was play very surprisingly, play just coming out of, you know, the bushes, always hiding, always keeping as much information as possible. And that was a good example of something that works in teams, because if he's denying as much information, you know, consistently to the entire team, that's fine. But you can disappear for 30 seconds sometimes in solo queue, and if the enemy team doesn't ping and react, guess what? You can get a kill like that. You can go bottom and just gank a dude. Now, sometimes people won't listen. Sometimes there will be no situation where you can go in and get something done in the bot lane. For example, as Pantheon, as Morgana, as anybody. As the support, as the carrier itself. Sometimes you just can't do things. And I'm going to say something that I don't like to say. You cannot win every game. There will be games where you cannot do anything to win. Like, I don't mean you're just not going to be effective. I'm just going to mean that there will be that guy who's 20 million to 0 to 20 million assists. You cannot do anything. Did that affect my camera? Okay, one second. I think I just found a bug with spectator mode. So, I was going to transition this. You see Veigar up top, you know, full HP, but Rhux knows with his ultimate he can make this call. He can say go in. Okay. Okay, that goes to manual camera. Weird. So he says go in. They do take out Veigar. Our Dreamlike, our Fantasy barely survives, and Rhux actually tries to chase down. Lol, what are you doing? And is successful. So he's still doing that same thing. He's still making calls. And interesting that manual camera bugs out when Pantheon ultimates. I need to tell a dude about this actually. Cool. We're finding bugs, guys. We're making the game better. But it's all these communication skills that are coming in handy. I forgot what I was saying before, so my mistake. But like you'll notice, I'm not saying anything about how Rhux is playing. I mentioned this before, but his pressure in lane was fine. He was tossing a lot of spear shots. He, like I said, was breaking Malphite's shield. He was being exceptionally defensive or offensive. He was, you know, playing it right when he was in a dangerous situation. He went ahead, played safely, and when he wasn't, he played aggressively. He's got good basic skills down. What's making him do well in this matchup is that he's communicating with his team. And now remember what I was saying before. If people don't listen, if you cannot win a game, you cannot win that game. I'm sorry, it happens. Sometimes, you know, lanes will go horribly before you can help them out. And it's just kind of like, well, I lost that. Could I have done anything to, you know, win the game? Maybe. Maybe you couldn't have. But still, you want to look for ways you can improve. You want to look for ways to go, well, alright, I died X times. Why did I die X times? Was there anything I could have done to prevent those deaths? Did I get what I want done with those deaths? Were they good trades? Like for example, Rhux here. You know, he got caught up by that stun, but it's going to be a good situation because they have Kennen coming in. He's low on HP though. Can he actually keep chasing? No. Why does he back up then? Is it because he had good game sense? Yeah. What develops good game sense though? Experimenting. He knew that if I kept chasing as Pantheon into that Veigar with his ultimate up, well, he actually knew the ultimate wasn't up, it had about 3 seconds. He knew if he kept chasing, he would have died. So he backed off. Now, I've been talking about communication and how you play it, and then there's game sense. Game sense is like knowing when to go in, when to not go in, when I should help my team, when I should not help my team. Rhux is in a good position on the red team. He's helping his team as much as possible. He's going in and out, just using that ultimate, going like crazy. If you couldn't help your team, sometimes you just gotta stay mid and farm like crazy. You want to find that opening to help your team though. But what develops good game sense? How do you get good at this game? You play a lot, and more importantly, when you play, you learn from your mistakes. You learn from what happened in the game. When I learn a character, for example, I just did this on Aurelia, I play hyper aggressive. I play like I've never ever laid the game before, and I'm just, you know, on the offense the entire time. Why? I want to know the limits of Aurelia. I want to know the limits of how far I can go. You know, when I initiate with 200 HP against someone with, you know, max HP. I want to know if they need their ignite to kill me. I want to know every little detail about that character, including what it takes to kill her. And with that knowledge, I know how aggressive I can play in the future. I'll know when I can go ahead and be like, yo, I can get a kill on this dude because even though I'm at half HP, his ignite's down. With my ultimate, that won't be enough for him to survive. And that's how you play this game. You just keep playing, you keep going crazy. That's why some picks just completely throw a game on its side in tournaments. For example, Dyrus picked Kale in MLG. That would be a good example of a pick that completely threw it off. Now Rhux, he goes in to support his team. It doesn't work. He actually gets caught up by the very edge of Veigar's stun, and he does make it work in the end. So his ultimate didn't land. He went ahead and used his resources. It was a good idea. But we're transitioning from a point of laning. You'll notice Veigar was in the top lane. You'll notice that the outer turret has fallen on all of bot lane. So the game is transitioning, and the lead is there. It's an 11 kill difference. Now, the gold difference isn't that massive. It's about 5,000 gold, which is actually pretty big, but you factor in the dragons, you factor in that they're ahead 11 kills, which just on kills itself, like assuming no death streaks, that's about 3,300 gold. So, they're not that far ahead. Like, everything adds up nicely. They don't have like a massive CS lead, for example. The CS is pretty even. What do you start doing in games like this? Well, you can start doing things like going for Baron pressure. As players get better, this is a 2200 game, for example. Eventually people will be able to pressure Baron. They'll know what they're doing when it comes to that giant purple worm. If they don't, you can keep going for laning. You just want to start getting towers done. You want to start getting objectives down. Rhux, he has helped his team a lot. He has helped kill top tower. He is just being roaming and aggressive. Now he's going to eventually start reaching a point where he can keep doing that, but he wants to do it and make sure his team is getting something done. So he wants to start using his ultimate to get a kill and push a tower. He wants to start using his ultimate to push a tower while being able to escape because he's Pantheon. So right now, he has his Bloodthirster. He waits and actually buys a longsword. So going really heavy on the damage. 233 damage on Pantheon. He is just a glass cannon 80 bruiser. It's pretty cool. It's actually what I like about Pantheon builds. He can survive one auto attack for free. But, yeah. So he doesn't stop the aggression. He knows, like, I have cannon here, I can be crazy, Malphite's not too far ahead in really anything. He just has a lot of armor, so I can put some hurt on, maybe break the shield. But, he doesn't go for that kill, that chase. So they're trying to get objectives now. It is the time where they have to. Rhux, he's good at pushing, actually. He can hurt a tower well, but he'll try to, help the team get catches on the enemy. Now, as team fight breaks out, it's a really cool team fight. Just watch it. I'll replay it in a sec, don't worry. Now, what happened? What the hell happened there? So, they get the grab onto Janna right now. Janna ultimates away, knocks back everybody. They have the chase coming in, and then a really good Malphite ultimate. That was an amazing Malphite ultimate, hitting 4 people. Cannon ultimates, he doesn't really get a lot, but Veigar shows up, tries to do something, does get a lot of damage out, but he doesn't actually get any kills. Janna try to come back in, gets picked off by Cannon, or not by Cannon, by Corki. No, by Cannon and Corki. They both attacked her. And Malphite eventually gets followed up, gets picked off, and it kind of falls apart as they pick off one more person. And Corki actually died in the entire process. Now, why was that a good team fight? Why was that a bad team fight? Well, it's a good team fight because they're about to pick up snipes. It was a good team fight though, just because they picked a few people off. They're ahead in kills. It was a 3-for-2 exchange, and they may not get the turret down. So they're actually just going to take nothing instead. So that was the good part, that they got the kills. The bad part is they didn't do anything. And the way I think of solo-Q team fights, unless you get like a clear significant win, and in that case, they didn't really get that much. If you don't get that clear significant win, it may not be that worth it for a team fight. So they didn't get any turrets down. It was an equal trade. But what if next time the enemy team, comes out ahead and takes out the turret? They start losing ground. So no ground really lost by the enemy team. They'd lost the turret beforehand. The goal difference now huge, but nothing really changed but because of that team fight specifically. And you want to start making those team fights matter. It's important you do that because even with this game, a 921 score, it doesn't take a lot of overaggression and sloppy, follow-up to ruin a game. So there, Corki died and Kennen died. And okay, that's alright. But that's still 2 kills. That's 2 kills, and they were ahead 1-0 before. So they're getting stuff done, but they're making trades, and eventually those trades may not just work out. That's kind of the problem with soloQ. Sometimes just you lose, and you're just like, oh wow, we were ahead by 1,000,000 gold, and we made bad plays because we got over aggressive. And you always have to be worried that your team's going to do that, because you don't know if they're going to. You don't know if Kennen's going to just ultimate in, defy people underneath the tower without Zonias. You don't know that. And that's what makes soloQ kind of scary. You're actually kind of on a timer, where you assume your team may make mistakes. That's what I do when I play soloQ. I assume my team will not play perfectly, because even if I know they're good, I know that we're not communicating. I know that my idea of a really good play and someone else's idea of a really good play may not be the same. So what does Pantheon do right now? He's pushing bottom. He's trying to get stuff done. He has that ultimate. He doesn't have to get very far to get the Baron. And his own team's doing his own thing, but that doesn't matter. He just wants to help win the game right now. So they pick up those 2 kills up top. It's like, whatever. I don't care. I'm Pantheon. That doesn't affect me. They don't need me to push. I can push down this bot lane, maybe get a turret, maybe get an inhibitor. And if they try and stop me, guess what? I have a good way to get away. But even if I get stopped, they'll take out other turrets. Like, as you can see, Corki's pushing down that top lane. They need to wait for that creep wave. Jarvan's hanging around middle lane, so they might go for Baron if they see enough pressure bottom. Now, this is something that happens a lot. People show up to defend towers, but they can't. What does Janna have to defend against Pantheon? Well, with that tornado being used to clear creep waves, nothing. And that Spirit Shot picks her off, and this is something that happens in soloQ. Like, it's weird to say, just people don't know the limits of their defense. They don't know how strong characters are. So Pantheon right there just murdered Janna. And, I mean, we've been watching Pantheon all game. You knew that was going to happen. But they did not. So, this is a funny little chase. Go ahead. Let's take a manual camera. So Draven goes into the bush, uses ultimate, which actually catches Rhux by surprise. Rhux wants to kill that carry. He knows that they can get Baron. The more time he wastes on Draven, the better it's going to be for his team. The ultimate's already been used, so that's great. He goes in for this fight, and I love this. It's actually a really cool fight. We're watching slow motion. It's really cool, because one mistake from Snipes probably costs him his life. So, going to... Oh wow, that was Rhux's vision. So watch Snipes. He actually is not visible right now, but Snipes accidentally attacks creep. So that reveals him. That lets Rhux get in there at the very beginning of the fight. And if you can tell, Rhux dies to the ignite afterwards. Rhux would have died had he taken one more shot. But that slip up from Snipes where he attacks creep lets him get that kill. And that's what soloQ is full of. Like, that was a mistake from Snipes. He did not want to attack that minion because of that. Because of that. That was weird. Because of that, he got revealed in the bush and let Rhux jump on him for free, like a half second earlier, which was all he needed. And that's just what happens in soloQ. People make mistakes. People can't play at their fullest because they're not that good, because they're not on your wavelength, just because you're not communicating with them. Like, there's a ton of reasons that you don't trust people in soloQ. And I don't trust people in soloQ either. I don't know them. I don't know how they're doing. I don't know, for example, Rhux could be drunk, having not slept in 48 hours this game, and I'd have no idea. He's playing well. But we're going for this final fight. What can Rhux do? You can just kind of help clean up. He uses his ultimate. Will he clean up Master of Lol? Yes. Will he clean up Baraka? Yes. Will he clean up Lol, what are you doing? Huh? Can he? Can he? Can he? Can he do it? Can he do it? Yes. And then as that dies, it's a 5-0. It's about 30 seconds left in the game. They should be able to finish the game off. If not, they're so far ahead, they will not be stopped. But the surrender boat will come out, and Rhux and the rest of his team, including Gotswag Gotswag Bre. Ooh, I don't like that name. Jester, Fantazindi, and Doom Trobo claim victory. Now, I'm going to go ahead, go back to XSplit, and I think I just muted myself on Skype. Now, what happened that game? Oh my god, my hair. No, I put the headset on, messed it up. Oh well. What happened that game, guys? Why did they win? What's just started that? Well, they played aggressively early. They went ahead and got a lot of kills, and they had a lot of kills. The enemy team tried to get into a team fight, and they won the team fight because they had a lot of kills. That's not too deep. That's not too exciting, but it happens in soloQ a lot. And what have I been saying all game? Do stuff on your own, but play as a team. And that actually applies to high elo games, that applies to low elo games, that applies to everything. Do what you do, but do it as a team. So if you see that you want to gank in the top lane, ask your team. If they go ahead and help you, cool. If not, sucks. But if you cannot win your lane, if you cannot 1v1 and come out ahead, don't do it. If you need that jungler, wait for him. If he doesn't come, you can't do it in the end. What did Rhux do? He played possibly one of the most team-oriented characters in the game, Pantheon, because he has the ultimate to let him travel distance. He played him like Twisted Fate. He did a lot. He did really well. He saw that every time his team had an opening where he could come in and just be like, well, actually, he doesn't really yell anything when he ultimates in. It's just a big slamming sound. So I have no yell. I have no Demacia! Because there was no Demacia yell. And that was a very weak Demacia yell because he doesn't actually yell it. But he just went ahead, helped his team, went crazy, and it worked. Will this work every time? No, sometimes he'll get spotted. Sometimes the enemy team will just outlane him. A lot can go wrong in soloQ. This was an example of game that was won through aggressive ganks from the jungler and from mid lane. But will that always happen? No. I've lost many soloQ games and won many soloQ games where we just outlaned them. I've won them where we actually got into crazy team fights and it was awesome as hell, like, a good game. Sometimes you just get these very standard games. But, it happens. Now, okay, announcements. So, lessons, like I said before, they're going, but they're going at a very odd pace because of server issues. I'm confident, again, that the servers will not break, so I'll go ahead and start doing more of those. I will be moving this weekend, so the streams will be live streamed soon, or these videos will be live streamed soon. You can go ahead and check me out there. Don't have a URL for you quite yet, but soon enough. And I got a lot of responses for the OK Friday thing, so I'll be doing that. Well, not Friday. I'll be doing that sometime this week, though. But yeah, studio. See ya, folks. Well, okay.